Vitamin B12 is an essential nutrient needed to protect DNA and RNA, support energy, protect your nerve and brain cells, form healthy red blood cells, and maintain a positive mood. So yes, this vitamin known as cobalamin, which is only one out of the 8 B vitamins you need, does a lot in the body, and it's important that you ensure you're getting enough vitamin B12. And although it's not common to have a deficiency in it, the risk is still there for some, and in fact approximately 6% of adults 60 or younger have vitamin B12 deficiency, and the rate jumps to 20% in people older than 60. So this video will be different than the others you find on YouTube, throwing a bunch of different symptoms of B12 at you without really giving you a perspective, or let's say a timeline of the B12 deficiency and what comes first, what's early or what's too late. This video will be different. You'll know exactly what the early signs that tend to happen first are, then I'll get into the intermediate progression of the B12 deficiency and who's maybe at more risk for B12 deficiency, and what you could do right away to make sure that those symptoms don't play out to any more severe than they need to. Also, definitely stay tuned till the end of the video, because I'll be going over one mistake that you may not even know that you're doing that's stopping your B12 from getting absorbed. So make sure to watch till the end. Let's start out with what the big picture is. What does vitamin B12 do? If I were to narrow it down to two things to make it simple and not confuse you, I would say these are the most important things vitamin B12 does that you should know of. The first is to maintain the myelin sheath. You see, myelin is found on our nerve fibers surrounding our nerves and helping the nerves to speed up impulses. To put it simple, it allows the nerve signals and electrical impulses to transmit quickly and efficiently along the nerve cells in our body. If we don't get enough vitamin B12, the myelin could get compromised and the normal healthy nerve impulses slow down and can cause pain. The second major thing vitamin B12 does is to help mature your red blood cells, because without getting enough healthy mature red blood cells, your tissues and organs don't get enough oxygen, and without enough oxygen your body can't work as well and can lead to what is known as pernicious anemia, which is a disease in which the production of red blood cells are impaired as a result of the body's inability to absorb and get enough vitamin B12. So I feel like that's a good starting point to understand the big picture. We need the B12 to have healthy nerve signals, and we also need the B12 to have healthy red blood cell production. Now let's start out with what the early signs of vitamin B12 deficiency are and who is even at risk for developing them. Because if you know immediately if you're at risk, you can take the necessary steps right away to avoid them from getting worse. The earlier and mild signs of B12 deficiency are feeling more tired and feeling like passing out, rapid heartbeats, cold hands and feet, easy bruising and bleeding, a sore and red tongue, also known as glossitis, and the big one, which is having anemia or a reduced number of red blood cells. Because remember, B12 makes the red blood cells to mature, and without enough B12, vitamin B12 deficiency anemia could arise, which is essentially when you get the wrong shape of red blood cells forming that are very large and are shaped like an oval and not round like the healthy red blood cells need to be. This will then cause the bone marrow to make fewer red blood cells, and in some cases the red blood cells don't last longer than they should, and a number of issues stems off from there. So those are some of the mild symptoms, and keep in mind that symptoms of B12 deficiency tend to be non-specific, so your doctor may suspect other conditions or deficiencies, as some of these symptoms can cross over as other conditions as well, so keep that in mind. And we already discussed and talked about that in the magnesium deficiency video too, so if you haven't watched that one, I'll link it above right there so you can take a look after this video. Now, in these mild deficiency symptoms, it's important to know that if you are at risk of them getting worse, what you could do to prevent that. And the three groups of people who are at more risk are, starting with the first one, vegetarians and vegans. This is because vitamin B12 is only found naturally in animal products. Even though some plant-based milks or grains have been fortified with vitamin B12, vegan diets are often limited in B12, putting them at risk of the deficiency. The second group are those who their medicines put them at risk for B12 deficiency. So anyone taking metformin, as metformin actually blocks the absorption of B12, and anyone taking acid blockers for heartburn or any of these guys are at risk too, as they disrupt B12 absorption as well. The third group who are at risk are those who've had gastrointestinal issues like gastritis, celiac disease, and inflammatory bowel disease, or any condition that disrupts nutrient absorption will also likely disrupt B12 as well. So what can you do to offset this and find the balance? You can look to supplementing B12 if your doctor recommends you need to get on board with B12. So if you're looking for a B12, you need to know of the two major types first. Obviously there's more, but the two big players are cyanocobalamin and methylcobalamin. And before you take vitamin B12, it's important that you get a confirmed deficiency result from a lab test or your doctor's office first, proving that you are in fact deficient, because you shouldn't be taking B12 if you aren't sure. Now with that said, cyanocobalamin is a synthetic form of vitamin B12 found only in supplements, while methylcobalamin is a naturally occurring form that you can get through either food sources or supplements, and the research shows that cyanocobalamin may be better absorbed in the body, while methylcobalamin likely has a higher retention rate and can last longer in the body. But other studies have found that the differences in absorption and retention are really small, so both can work just fine. And if I were to recommend one, it's going to be the 1 milligram of methylcobalamin once a day. And I always recommend a product from a reputable company that has a third-party testing available. And this isn't a sponsored video at all, and I'm not paid to say any of this. The reason why I look to Thorne supplements is because they're the only supplement manufacturer to collaborate with Mayo Clinic on wellness research and content, and their manufacturing facility is annually certified by GMP and certified by NSF International yearly, so they get a lot of third-party testing to make sure that when you take B12, you actually are getting B12 and not harmful substances that can get mixed in. Now, I'm not saying that you have to go with the Thorne version, but make sure that when you do purchase a B12, it does have a third-party testing to make sure the quality is there. Now let's move on to some moderate conditions that hopefully won't have to come about once you're on board with a good supplement. You'll start preventing the more moderate symptoms like more hair loss, joint pain, and feeling pins and needles, especially in the hands and in the feet. That can be really hard to get used to at first. And the more severe forms of B12 deficiency, which can be a reduced heart function, changes in your reflexes, memory problems, blurred vision, and mood changes that can lead to depression, which hopefully we'll never get to since we would be tackling on the deficiency early on. And since you stayed tuned till the end of the video, I told you that I was going to tell you that one thing that could be stopping your B12 from being absorbed efficiently and something to keep note of is your vitamin C. Vitamin C can destroy vitamin B12, especially at large doses. So a sneaky way to get around this is to take your vitamin C 2 or more hours after taking your B12. Hit that red subscribe button down below and let me know what your thoughts are down below. I know this isn't a complete breakdown of everything you need to know of B12, but I hope that it's a good starting point. And always speak with your doctor and pharmacist before starting any new supplement. And as always, guys, I'll see you on the next one.